Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid. I'm joined once again by Maryland.
Hello, everybody.
And we have another exciting turn for you in the tournament finals. As you can see, it is a very, very colorful list of battles.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff.
And
look at all that yellow. There's a lot of yellow there.
There's yeah, and is getting a lot of action, it looks like. And
there's a lot of action. Yeah, and a lot of green.
Yep. And we have a bunch of little novellas from the different players this turn. So perhaps we start with Ulm.
Yeah, maybe the Ulm Satis shenanigans.
All right. You want to do us the courtesy, Maryland?
I will. So Kirby is given the message today. Quite a drama-filled turn, this one. Sad to see our Queen of Air bite the dust. Yeah, that was interesting. That was touch and go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to jinx it because the reward versus the risk was great. But I did think that the biggest danger to sending in Wrathful Skies was that the Sobex hit hard enough to kill her. Yes. Oh well, hindsight is 2020. I think we talked about last turn that a little bit of chaff might have saved his bacon, but maybe he couldn't get it there. I think that we are still in a dominating position over Satis. Well, he sent the god back home again, right? Although it was returning.
Yeah, the god died or got sent home or something. I think, got sent home as a white mage.
Yeah. We will see what the next turn brings. We did. Oh, and it muted it. That's right. Yes, and that hurts.
Yeah.
That cripples it. Biggest news is that Vanheim has now exited the coalition against Pangaea. Yes. And immediately messaged us about ending their NAP with us. Right. I remember that. Now, from the perspective of a player who lacks all the relevant information that Omni and other players have, this decision makes little sense to me. And so I will be very interested to see this turn from Van's perspective and hear his reasons if he is kind enough to give them. Oh, so he's talking about when he gets to watch this episode.
Right.
Which will be tomorrow. In any event, this leaves Ind in the lurch to fight Pan alone, since Ulm has also pulled out of that coalition by necessity, right? We could annoy and distract Pan while we focus down Satis, but finishing Satis while also fighting Van is a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
In other news, Ulm is filthy rich. Yes, we've seen that. I would be surprised if we do not have the highest income. You do. And we have gotten gold events 3 turns in a row. Oh, well, that helps. Boosted to absurd levels by our scales. And he has, what's it called? The resources spell global up, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, let's take a look. He's got, riches from beneath and Earthblood Deepwell. So that's should...
awesome. If he's floating in cash, that's wonderful news.
Income, oh my god.
Oh, yeah, he's way up there.
I don't think I realized that. That's actually pretty significant.
Well, you can see the 2 spells.
Yeah.
And then the territory gain.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because we've been looking at the graphs, but somehow this kind of escaped me.
I seem to remember seeing this, that he had huge, and his gem income, if I remember right, is monstrous. No, it's good. It's good. Really good.
I mean, effective gem income. He's lost some of his luxury things, like I think his King of Earth Elementals died and his Queen has died. But if you compare it to how much Vanheim has lost, I bet you he has more. So.
Oh, yeah, Vanheim lost a lot worse. And he's fumbled a little with those SCs. I think we had one more sentence left.
I think you got it. We'll see.
No, something about that last sentence I didn't read. I suspect Van knows this on some level. Maybe this concerns him. We'll see. Yeah, he might know it. But it's hard to estimate somebody's income without seeing graphs.
Yeah, I think Vanheim has a message. So let's read this, and then we'll read the Satis message, and then we'll just cover the Ulm Satis military. Yeah, because he's wondering about that.
I have canceled my NAP3 with Ulm. Yes. Attacks can be ordered on turn 57. Okay, so he's got that clarified. He obviously informed the coalition about this and told them that he would make peace with Pan as well. Okay, that caused some quiet, I think he meant panic and confusion, since without my help, the others have little chance of taking down Pan. Well, unless Arco gets in. Like Pelagia.
Well,
fortunately,
yeah, that I guess is an option because they're about to be freed up from the war with Jotunheim. I mean, that was basically over now.
I saw a lot of talking back and forth in the channel about that, but I had to not read it because there were spoilers.
Yeah.
And please, guys, don't put spoilers in the
Discord.
Don't put spoilers in the Discord channel for the current series, because I like to read that to follow along, but I don't want to mess up my. I like doing this without knowing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they seem to consider Pan a bigger threat than me, so I don't think that they will all jump on me instead. Pan seems to move everything he has against Ind. It is going to be interesting to see how that conflict turns out.
Yeah.
If Ind plays his cards right, he should be able to resist Pan quite well. Well, we were pretty skeptical that Ind can hold out.
I think they can. I think the biggest... Economically, I think they can. Like, if you look at the graphs for Ind and for Pangaea, like, Ind is not very far behind Pangaea in income.
No, but I think research is his...
Gym income, they're above Pangaea. This is Ind.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, if you were to just look at the economics and you're like, okay, he's 20% behind in... Or, well, this is when the attack started, I think. But...
Right.
If you know he's 20%, 25% behind in gold, but 10% ahead in gems, but you know Pangaea has lost literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he's got a shot. The thing that is going to make it real hard is this graph.
That is the graph that I was thinking of that makes, because Ind just can't counter those big debuffs that Pan can throw out.
I mean, Pangaea just literally has, you know, twice the research that Ind does, and he's going to use it. Like, he's not going to be, you know, you're going to feel every little penny of research that Sai has when you're fighting him.
Well, and we're pretty sure he's got Army of Gold or Army of Lead. We were pretty sure he'd be rolling that out very soon.
Yeah.
And he's got a big army of junk, but junk buffed the way he can buff it is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, Maenads with 5
Army
or
of
6
gold.
major buffs. Yeah, they get nasty.
Yeah.
All right.
So
okay, so that's those 3, right?
And
Satis,
my guide could die to Soul Slay if I roll unlucky, but I'm counting on messing up Olm's communion. Okay, that's gonna be spicy.
Yeah. Okay.
And while we're at it, let's cover Ind, because he's going to be fighting... Oh, wait, we haven't done Pangaea. We'll do Ind Pangaea stuff in a separate thing.
Pangaea,
that's another thing.
Would go well together.
Okay. So...
Yeah, and maybe we do Uruk when we get to the Ashdod Xibalba stuff.
Oh, no.
What do you see?
Look at this. Oh, fort's under construction. I hope this fort comes up. You want to be very careful about leaving armies exposed against air nations like this.
Well, it's turn 55, right?
Yeah.
So he's got 2 more turns. Hopefully he can get it done in time.
Yeah, assuming they had a nap 3, I'm not totally sure, but...
He did say nap 3, and he said turn 57 he could issue attacks.
Okay.
That's what he said in the message. Right. So if this is 55, Alm's got... But it's going to be a flimsy fort.
Did Vanheim say that? Okay, yeah. Attacks can be ordered 57.
So he's got 3 turns until...
Wait, but that means Alm knew about it last turn, which was turn 54. So Alm had 54, 55, 56, 57 to prepare, huh? That's just... I was counting that, actually, because that's 4 turns to prepare. Because Kris had mentioned in in that video I put up on non-aggression packs, that he counted naps differently than I did, which is evident in this message. Because Alm's getting 4 turns to prepare, which is super helpful for Alm, that extra turn.
It is. So he's got a decent chance of... I mean, what he's going to do with that fort, I'm not quite sure, but he probably started it before this happened, before the NAP was canceled.
Yeah.
So now he's a little bit stuck. Given how much gold he says he has, though, he could simply abandon it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, does he really want a flimsy fort there with a lab conveniently located for Van to jump onto and then have a beachhead?
Yeah, I think this is going to be. I think there's so much to consider in thinking about how this war with Vanheim's going to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting because I think the tech advantage favors Ulm still by a margin. Like Ulm is like it's almost the same as the Pangaea. Now
it's a double. Yeah, he's got double.
He's got double,
Japan.
Right? The thing though that's different is that look where Vanheim is. Vanheim is right here, and look where End is.
Yeah,
right here. Van has already started getting to the point where he's gotten some of the 7s. And
he's got some of his critical spells rolled out. He's got
Wailing Winds, Wrathful Skies, Fog Warriors. He's gotten the 7s. And that's, I think, the big difference between the research despair. People were asking me about this, like, when do I research, when do I not? And this, if you were fighting with multiple, like, 7-level researches and somebody doesn't have them, you're going to crush them often. And that's what's going to happen in the Pangaea versus End conflict. But that's not necessarily what's going to happen in the Ulm versus Vanheim conflict. The Ulm versus Vanheim conflict is more like somebody has many 9s and somebody has several 7s. And
I've stated in the past that to me, the magic numbers in research tend to come at the 7s and a few of the 8s. There's a few 9s really worthwhile, but I've known good players who will more or less stop research once they hit those 7s and 8s, because you've got most of the things you really need. Like that's where you can throw up 7 or 8 different battle enchantments. You could really start pounding it down. You've got a lot of the moderate-sized AoE buffs. You may not have the great big ones, but you could do a lot with those AoE 15 resistance buffs and stuff instead of the Enchant 8 gives you the battle-wide resistance buffs. But so 7s to me are kind of the magic numbers. I often do a balanced research. I'll rush to a 7 and then I'll start getting the other 7s before I worry about the 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
There's a couple of 8s like Maelstrom and the enchantment resistances that are battle-wide.
Serpent's Blessing is at 7, and then all the resistances and Alteration and Enchantment are at 8, and those are really important depending on your army. Regeneration is at 8, which can be important. Mass Luck is at so Mass Regen is at Enchantment 8. Mass Luck, or Will of Fates, is at Alteration 8.
Yes. And then Conjuration 7 gets you most of your diversity summons that you need. Fairy Queen is 8, so that's sometimes critical.
And you have the big game change. I mean, you have like Master and Slave and stuff and Thaumaturgy at 9, and you have Army of Gold and stuff, which can be ridiculously strong at Alt 9. So
those are the 2 big 9s that I tend to look at. I'm not big on Construction 8 because Poison Golems are blah.
Yeah.
You get Golems at 7. You get Weapons of Sharpness at 7. So Construction 8 I usually don't push hard for. If you're a Blood Nation, there's a great stuff at Blood 8.
I think this will be a really interesting war between Ulm and Vanheim, just because, like, I think what will determine this war for me, there's going to be 2 factors. So Vanheim's choosing the war. I think 2 factors having primarily to do with Ulm will determine how well this war is going to go. We mostly know what Vanheim's going to do, or at least I think I do. But what Ulm does, I'm not sure. And it's going to be how many large armies can Ulm have that is going to utilize most of the buffs that he has.
Right.
And buffing, like using all the buffs as Ulm is non-trivial at all.
No, because his path levels are low. They're broad but low.
Right.
Although,
so he's going to have to make matrices and summons and all of these things to get all the buffs out he has from his research. if he
But
can
this is
do
where I
that, he could
argue-
potentially punish the hell out of Vanheim.
This is where I argued that if I was Ulm, I'd be using his kings and queens as battlecasters, not as
Yeah.
SCs.
Yeah.
Because he needs those instant right now buffs, round 1 buffs.
Yeah.
And he can get those up with the elementals much easier than he can mucking about with communions.
Yeah, and there's other things that I think Ulm's going to have to look at too, which is we know that Vanheim has a Spirit Sight Bless and is going to be putting up darkness. And
We also know, remember, Vanheim told us he summoned a massive horde of storm demons.
yeah,
And that buffed, those are gruesome.
yeah,
You know, you buff their protection, they're already ethereal. If you put storm up, they can fly rear because they got storm
yeah. I mean,
power.
I think basically for Ulm to fight Vanheim, they're going to have Will of Fates in every army. That's going to help a lot against Wrathful Skies. It's going to help a lot against Storm Demons. He's going to need Ground Army or Thunderfend to buff the shock resistance.
Hopefully ground army.
Right. He's probably... I don't think you actually want to cast Army of Gold if you have it, because you care about the Shock Malice too much against Vanheim. He's probably...
No, he'd want Army of Lead, I think. Army of Lead would be my pick.
Those both have Shock Malices, though. I don't think you can do either of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I think you actually stick with Mass Protection and just throw on some fire resistance.
Well, Marble Warriors might be a way to go.
Yeah, Marble Warriors would be great, too.
Because that gives them Cold Malice, but that's not so bad.
Right. So I think you have to do stuff like that. And then... you know, I think they're also at the point in the game where he can throw up Firestorm, and he's going to have Mass Protection up, but if he also has Fire Fend up or whatever, the protection on his troops will be high enough, and he can do Iron Skin and stuff on his mages. The protection on his troops should be high enough that Firestorm should punish Vanheim.
And he's got the King of Fire unless he got him killed.
Yeah.
At least one of them. So, yeah.
So this is...
But he did tell us he has a huge shortage of fire gems.
Yeah. So we can look at it, but this is just... There's so many different ways this war can go. And in many ways, I think this is going to be like... how much... Like... This is going to be a test for the Ulm player, and I think if he's like bringing his absolute A game, he can stomp Vanheim here.
I need to remind myself who is Ulm again. I know it, but
I think it's Kirby, and I forget the other player.
Kirby and where are we? Tournament. Where the heck is it? Why am I drawing a blank?
I want to say jachello, but I don't think it is. I think jachello is Ashdod. Toolbox, right?
Toolbox,
yeah.
Who was the one who beat my ass.
Yeah.
Toolbox was a real newbie in the first tournament round, but he got so good during that game. He got really good.
Yeah.
So they're both good. I think the big issue for Ulm right now is, can he end this struggle with Satis quickly and get back to where he needs to be?
Yeah.
So, okay. We got some good fights.
So here's the Satis god rolling out, and I think he must have a Ring of Returning, yeah.
Yeah, so he got something whacked him and sent him home.
He had sent this message about hoping to gem bait the god.
Okay, I see Serpent's Blessing went up.
Yeah.
Oh, poof. Yeah.
So he successfully gem baited it, and he probably killed a decent amount of stuff. Yeah, he killed a quarter of the army.
Although, the black plates hurt, and he actually got 5 magi.
Yeah, I mean
that
was definitely worth it, I think. And then, for those of you who don't know, he had a Ring of Returning, so he popped back to his capital.
Yeah, so that was a good gem bait. Well played on Satis's part.
Now,
Safely gem baited.
He gem baited so he could get Foul Vapors off, hopefully without the Serpent's Blessing.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh no! I wonder if somehow he did this without getting Fire Fend off too. Nobody has his King of Fire Elemental.
Oh, Jesus! Did he put Fire Fend up first?
I don't think so. I think.
Dude.
Wait,
no, you don't do this.
I gotta see what happens. What was this guy scripted with? Phoenix power. So, okay, they went Serpent's Blessing. Oh wait, I just saw Firefend go, right? No?
No. He ran forward. What is he doing?
Oh no, they got fire resistance. Where did it come from? Did they do Army of Gold? No. Wait, everybody has fire resistance. Somebody cast it. 1 second.
Go to the king and hit V.
Phoenix power and Pillar of Fire. That's not it.
No. So he didn't burn his gems.
Well, we're gonna figure.
He didn't have enough gems on that Fire King. If I'm doing that with the Fire King, I script it to Fire Fend and then the big flaming death is the script I would use on the Fire King.
Firefend. Herman casts Firefend. Who's Herman?
Oh, Herman.
It must be one of these mages, yeah.
Well, that's good. He got it up, but then he didn't have the gems next time.
So this guy, he should have enough gems with just this, I think. Oh, wait. No, I think this will be enough gems to do Firefend, right? You only need 2, right?
But he might yet burn that other gem.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because he probably does something stupid like put up an element. Oh, he got killed.
He got deleted.
Oh,
man.
That's why.
Rest in peace, Herman. And so now there's no Serpent's Blessing. And then he firestorms himself with that. By the way, guys. Pro tip. Here's my pro tip of the day. If you were going to do a battlefield wipe, like let's say you're going to do Foul Vapors, it is extra nice if you have the turn before you cast it, the same guy casting Foul Vapors puts up Serpent's Blessing. He's like tied into a communion and you can swing it.
Exactly.
Because that way, if he's dead, then he's not going to Foul Vapors your own army that's not prepared. Same thing for Firestorm. This guy, Phoenix Power, Firefend, Firestorm, right? And that way, he's not going to Firestorm his own army.
Well, I have 2 other comments related to that. I agree you should put up the big battle-wide resist before you put up the battle wipe spell. Secondly, either use somebody with lots of hit points or put some bloody armor on your caster.
Yeah.
You know,
he got zapped by a lightning bolt there, so that wasn't gonna. Armor's not gonna save him.
No,
but yeah,
because
in general, will help.
I would have put probably Fireplate on him. Would have been my choice on Herman. But it's preferable though to use the King of Fire to do it, because that way you know that if that guy survives, if he dies, then he won't be casting Firestorm and killing you yourself. So yeah, like if I'm gonna put up Wrathful Skies with say an Air Queen, I'll make sure I put up the big, not ground army, but the one in Thunderfend.
Yeah.
Do that first. It only takes 1 round.
Yeah.
Because his losses here were high for what. Yeah. See, he didn't need to lose most of that.
Yeah. Who killed most of the stuff? Probably the King of Flames. Yeah, I think he killed most of it.
I think. How many kills? Yeah, 40 kills.
Some of them would have died from the. I mean, it's. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah.
How many killed?
Oh, wow. Okay, well.
I mean, this was just a minute ago a 200-person army, and like, sure, he's won the battle, but now it's withered down to a 100-person army with a ton of the mage support gone. This is like kind of a disaster. I mean, one thing I'll do too is I will almost always, on armies I care about, not on every army, because you can't afford to do it for every army, but armies I care about, which I think this one would have qualified as an army I care about, I'm going to put enough gems to deal with the gem bait. It's just something I do always. If I can't afford to do that, then I can't afford to send the army out.
Yeah, you should double your gems.
Yeah.
But you still run the risk of if somebody gem baits and then holds longer, the dummies will go cast a bunch of elementals. I don't know if you're
Well,
AI.
you do conservative gem use that'll stop that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I pretty much always said that.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm using big battle-wide buffs,
yeah.
I said conservative gem use because
Yeah.
I don't want them pissing away gems, just reducing their fatigue.
Yeah.
So because the King of Flames doesn't need to fight. He could sit back after he casts his spells and do whatever.
Right.
He doesn't need to move forward.
But well, that's cool because Satis, so far his attrition strategy hasn't really worked.
No, but kudos to him for a very well done gem burn.
Yeah, I mean this was super effective.
That was a smart move.
With some efficient rating. Nice.
Given that loss, for Ulm, I'd be trying to negotiate some kind of peace with Satis now.
I wouldn't.
If he had not, you wouldn't. You'd still keep trying for 3 turns to wipe Satis.
I would make a deal with Arco, even though it's dangerous dealing with the fish people that are going to be doing Nexus. He's going to probably be getting the coastal stuff anyway. I would just be like, hey, dude,
you can have that throne.
Yeah.
You can have that throne.
You can have the throne. You can have this stuff on the coast. Do some deal. And say, if you take it, I would want him to attack soon is basically what I would want him to do. Because I would want this Satis thing to be done. And then I would want to wrap up and have peace with these guys. And honestly, unless I'm looking super weak as Ulm, I probably am not a super logical next target for Pelagia. I mean, if I were Pelagia, I would rather go mess with Pangaea at this point, or, even End.
Yeah,
but
if I was Pelagia, I want to go after Ulm because look at the distances and the terrain problems. That's an ugly extension of his territory. He's far better off to grab 2 provinces from his lake off into the shore, get Satis out of the game, clean that up, and then focus down.
Yeah. The problem if he pieces out entirely is this is all going to get turned into Pelagia if he pieces out. And he's already committed these armies. These armies are not going to be back. And that's the other thing about slow-moving nations. This stuff might as well be dead for coming up here and fighting the elves. It's going to take long. I mean, it actually technically probably could get back to the border in 4 turns by the time the conflict breaks out, but still,
I've mentioned this before. I'm in a middle-age Agartha game, and that painfully slow movement is agony. The only advantage is it's DE, so there's a cave teleport spell, which is helpful. But beyond that, slow-moving armies, you have to be planning ahead more like chess if you're a slow-moving nation.
Yeah. So I think what I would do is it's going to be a little hard, but I mean, Ulm has so much goddamn tech. He just needs to kill these Satis forts. Maybe he holds off on the capital and just raids around here. But I think you keep doubling down. You get all the troop production. You get all the stuff you're going to need to fight some of these Vanheim stacks.
Well, you and I have talked that one thing he doesn't seem to be using as much as I think he should is Black Lord thugs, dirt cheap Black Lord thugs. You could buy 2 of them. I think they're commander point 1.
Yeah.
You give them a single cheap item, and off they go in pairs.
Yeah, with a smith to buff them. I think you figure out what's a good kit for killing elves with that, and you have those as elf raider defenses. That's a definitely. That's what I didn't mention that for fighting Vanheim. One part is how is Ulm going to actually use all of that research advantage, and the second part is how is he going to deal with all the raiding, and that part of dealing with the raiding I think is where we get to the Black Lord thugs.
I think dirt cheap Black Lord thugs with great swords of sharpness or something.
Yeah.
You just throw them around. They raid. They're fast. There is only fast moving. You could give them. I think they're size 3, so you can give them 1 cavalry. And then spend the rest of your money and resources buying your cheap infantry.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you just stack attack on them. You give them a Burning Pearl and you give them...
or Ring of the Warrior.
Maybe a Ring of the Warrior too. Like maybe you
If he can
blood and
buy-
power a smith and have him make Ring of the Warriors for the rest of the game for 1 slave.
Yeah, it's dirt cheap. So
Or I guess
yeah,
it'd
you
be
could
3. You probably don't want to waste a hammer on that, but
maybe not, but I'm sure he's floating in hammers.
yeah.
Because he's got Earth well up, so he must be just floating in hammers.
You know what also might be interesting? I wonder if like Hammer of the Mountains that can stun targets. That might be a good item. I think that's only 5 gems too. That might be a good anti-elf item.
It might, yeah. There's a bunch of even a stinger.
Yeah.
Because then you keep your shield.
Yeah.
And stingers, he could make stingers for a single gem. I've been looking at doing stingers on on Vans. So I mean, those are all, and he could cost effectively stick 1 or 2 Black Lords in every province backed with PD to just counteract any stealthy Vans.
Yeah.
And that could trash a van that just has a Frostbrand.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. He's got, I mean, this is really going to test the metal of Ulm. Because I think he basically needs to still finish off Satis. Maybe with the help of Pelagia, and then get ready for a hell of a ride with Vanheim. But I think it's a war he can win. I think it's going to be hard, and he's got to do everything right, but I think he can win it.
It would really help him to find an ally, and the ally I would choose would be Pelagia.
Yeah.
Because it's in Pelagia's interest to keep Vanheim from getting too big.
Yeah. It's not a great front for Pelagia to attack into.
But you could ally on a support basis, like trading and remotes, rather than a direct attack basis.
Yeah.
Because Pelagia could, support Ulm with long distance assistance.
Oh my God! I hope Pelagia doesn't know about this province. If they knew about this would be a good way to get him to join in there. Because this is Nexus being cheaper, is what this one is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. You'd have to lock it down, but
yeah,
that's pretty sweet. Okay. Well, I think that kind of covers Ulm, Satis.
Yeah, and Vanheim. Let's go to the Pangaea and Ind conflict.
Yes. So Ind at, I think he means Construction 7, Alt 7, has very serious and threatening armies, and while he's still been, so he knows more than we do about Ind's research. Now, Ind, given his low research, has targeted quite well. If he's gone Construction 7, Alt 7, that's pretty smart.
Yep.
Has very serious and threatening armies, and while he's still been recruiting sages instead of dog mums, he at least knows that they and the cannibals exist, judging by the random patrol stuff sitting in various provinces. He's massively behind from where he would have been if he'd gone for the blood goodness early. Okay, yeah. Though, and I don't need to expect him to unzip 30 leech casters anytime he needs to win a fight yet. Yeah, he probably doesn't have leech. He also doesn't have the throng of Fiends of Darkness that he should have by now to supplement his sacreds. Well, this is typical of Sai to kind of be looking at going, well, where's his cheap ways to, pump himself up?
Right.
Which means that the fact that he has all of the buffs for those frightening flyers is just a little less scary. Fiends of Darkness are so efficient. They take a fair number of mage terms to build up in quantity, and I've been running harpies to and fro, and I just haven't seen that many shamans. As a result, even once he's realized that they're terrifying with all these spells that he wants to cast anyways, it'll take him a while to hit critical mass. Anyways, now that Vanheim no longer requires my everything to hold off and is about to take Ulm off my back, I can go at Ind aggressively. Well, we knew that last turn.
Yep.
The window where I wanted to fight him has long since been over, but things don't get any better for me. Ind is flat out the best scaling nation in MA, barring Nexus shenanigans, and even then, it could compete when it's fully metastasized into its blood economy with astral corruption. Pangaea can do some cool stuff, but Ind just has way better late game tools on account of its incredibly wide blood and astral, and because of how good the doggos are in late game fights. This is excellent analysis that he's doing instead of us, which is that, Ind is a blood astral nation. Blood astral nations are freaking scary in the late game.
Yeah. I just played a late game end. Did not win, but was in a strong position at the end. Yeah, I mean, End is definitely strong in the late game. I don't.
Oh yeah. You got to get there though.
I mean, I think Pangaea also has stuff they can do that's going to make them very scary in the late game as well. And certainly Pelagia is scary, and Vanheim having astral death everywhere is also going to be scary too. I mean, I think like all of the nations, like either it's Pelagia with wish farms, or Vanheim and Pangaea are both blood powers. They might not be quite as big of a blood power as End, and that their blood mages aren't as efficient, but they get recruit. Okay, well, Pangaea actually doesn't get recruit anywhere, blood mages. His are cap only, but Vanheim does.
Well, one thing about Pangaea is it has massive hordes of chaff to siege down anything as quickly as it needs to.
Yeah.
And once it gets those top-end spells like Army of Gold or Army of Lead, suddenly all those maenads become a threat.
Yeah.
Previously,
the Strength of Giants or Blood Rush of Strength and Weapons of Sharpness on them, they all of a sudden don't suck. So we'll see. I mean, I think in general, Sai is at probably an advantage versus them, but he just has been beat to hell. If he can conquer him End right now with what he has, that would be very impressive.
Well, let's see his next message. If Ind can already beat me, then hey, he could beat me. But I think I still have some time before they really get their illegal blood fuckery out in the quantity that would make that easy for them. For now, he's using sacreds, buffs, battle summons, the same sort of thing that I'm using, really. So we're looking at fights that actually play into Pan's strength. Just as importantly, I think I'm still ahead on tech. So since I know he has Construction 7, and I'm nearly sure he has Alt 7. He probably doesn't have Evo 6 yet, and Wailing Winds is busted. I'll also be able to either be able to win the race to Blood 7-2 and start snagging uniques, or maintain the wins disparity for a little bit longer. Now for some tactic stuff.
I don't think he realizes that he's twice in research. He thinks he's ahead, but he doesn't know that he's double. So yeah.
But he's arguing that Ind has done very targeted research.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
Yeah.
Now for some tactic stuff. Look at those dark vines. Aren't they cute? They're the perfect Evo bait, and when you stack a million buffs on them, they're actually okay at fighting units too.
Yep.
I don't know who's using them. I guess he is.
Yeah, I think he can summon them. I'm assuming Pandemonics can get them pretty easily. They're kind of cool. In DE, they got buffed too, but I was looking at them in my DE game. I was like, damn, they're scary. Because they've got tentacles, which are natively armor piercing, if I recall.
They're just stupid slow.
Yeah.
But if you can get them where you need them, or summon them where you need them.
Yeah.
See, when I've had Blood Nature, I've had a tendency to go for crossbreeding simply because it's useful to have the junk. It's a huge pile of junk. But if you've got Blood Nature, then, the Dark Vines are a hell of a lot tougher than crossbreeding.
Yeah.
When you've got the late game magic for them, you can make a pile of them and hit them with Army of Giants, Quickening, Master Gen, all that stuff. But with mid-game tech, you can only really buff a few of them without relying on advance and cast to paint buffs on the dudes that haven't gotten their bespoke, personalized, and handcrafted buffs. The spells casting mod disables that though, so even if I had more of the vines already out, I think my buff magus wouldn't get to all of them. So yeah, you'd have to do some tricky point buffing battle setups.
Mm-hmm.
Update. Alm is withdrawing from Pangaean. Okay, I really enjoy Sai's messages. They're full of too big words and all kinds of, various current events references and stuff.
I guess that's a Vietnam reference, right?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it is. No NAP in place because NAPs are bad, and I seriously think Vanheim will destroy him, and I want to take some of his provinces. In the meantime, I could save myself a few gems if he doesn't suicide more armies at me, and then get together a stack to take over Ulm and his easternmost holdings at my leisure. He also agreed to sell me 2 more master smiths for 50 blood slaves and an SDR. Okay, so Ulm is trying to do exactly what you suggested, is empower something.
Yeah. He needs to break into blood, but damn, that's
it's a big job.
I guess Sai's been beaten up enough where, I mean, normally I would hate giving Pangaea Master Smiths, but
yeah,
the cost is not the Master Smiths. The cost is Sai having 2 of them.
But he already has 2 or 3. So are 2 more any worse than what he has? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's I'll need to get some truly charmant dryads loaded up to capture them.
Yeah.
So this is a funny thing I haven't seen in a long time, is the deliberate trading of seduction.
Yeah.
It's kind of a goofy ass thing, but
okay, and I'll read this one. Give you a break. Cool. So a message from End. Bad luck previous turn on 27. Failed 2 charm rolls. Might mean a loss at 37 this turn, as the dryads can activate now. We'll see. I'm kind of getting wrecked by the casting AI. Iron Skin, Fire Shield, self buffs on important mages should win me 95% of the assassination battles. Yeah, I mean, so will Fire Elementals, but maybe. Yeah. And it depends. The second a Dryad takes... Because, by the way, a lot of people think, oh, Dryads cast Swarm. Yeah, you can give them a Nature Gem and cast Swarm, or you can give them a Water Gem and they can do a lesser Water Elemental. And that should murk most things, too. So, but yeah. And Water Elementals versus Iron Skin, Fire Shield would get messed up, but...
Or you can give them a lifelong protection, and then who gives a shit what they cast?
Right, exactly. Well... I mean, you give them a lifelong protection, there's a solution for End, which is summoning 2 big earth elementals or something. That's probably the only way they live.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Anyway, due to the AI mod, mages refuse to cast self-buffs. 5 bodyguards still work against Swarm, not against Creeping Doom. Trying S3 fire elementals now. Hopefully it works. Okay. So anyway, he's annoyed by... I think, like, if you look at what percent of the time... This is from End, too. Yeah.
Well, we've had numerous discussions, you and I, in this cast on assassin and seduction defense. I haven't seen anybody do a really good job of it so far. You know, I think Sai has gotten an awful lot more mileage out of Dryads than he really should have, because people just haven't quite been putting together the various pieces of stopping Dryad seduction problems. I think...
I mean, if you've got my spellcasting mod on, the simplest thing is you put 1 gem on every major, 2 gems on every major, put them on conservative gem casting so they won't cast it in combat. That'll uncheck for assassination battles. And then the Dryad's now going to have to cast, you know, Swarm against somebody who's going to do a Fire Elemental, an Earth Elemental, whatever it is. And that is going to fail a lot of the time. Yeah,
so any Elemental Mage or any Nature Mage, give them a single gem.
Yeah.
Death Mage as well, they're going to Skelly spam, so that's fine. And then use all 3 of the 3 or 4 major defenses. Spam a lot of scouts.
Yeah.
You know, stuff it with garbage commanders. Put gems on everybody that's important. What's the other ones?
Even the Astral ones you can kind of do something, like if you bodyguards. The Astral ones, sometimes you put a gem on them for like the little crappy S1 mages that End has. They can, I think they will do mind burn if you give them a pearl.
Yeah, because we're not talking Oriads or Nagini, which can bash the crap out of you. Dryads are a little on the flimsy side relatively. It's just there's so damn many of them. I just recently had to deal with Oriad seduction, and it was early game, like turn 13. My God, that was painful.
Yeah.
You know, that's very hard to deal with early game.
Do believe the coalition is falling apart. Might make me. Might is a. He doesn't know what we know. Might make me the primary target of Pan. In hindsight, perhaps peace might have been preferable instead of pushing for Uruk. Got greedy myself?
Yep. We said that.
I mean, it would have made sense even without the coalition falling apart.
How many turns have you said he should have sued for peace?
Yeah.
I think for the past 5 or 6 turns we said, just sell off some land to Pan, get the hell out of that, and focus down your what you need to do.
Yeah, and it's also kind of the thing, like, often if somebody's in a 3v1, the first person to sue for peace will get out, and the second person that sues for peace will get out, but the third person that sues for peace won't get it.
Right.
And that's end in this case.
Yeah, because the others have got out.
Yeah. In hindsight, okay, though thought the coalition was strong enough to deliver the knockout punch versus Pan, will be an interesting fight. And it almost was, except I think Vengeful Waters. Will be an interesting fight. Pan took strong losses, but was way ahead of everyone else. That's not really that true at all. Pan is definitely not in position 1 anymore. I don't even think he's in position 2.
He did take brutal losses.
Oh, yeah. No, this part is true. He took strong losses, but was way ahead of everyone else. That is not true. Have been trading him 2-1 in my favor, but I doubt will remain so for long. Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't think he wants to be in a war of attrition against Pan.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs a decisive set of wins. Oh, okay.
So Pangaea, right? This is probably where most of the cool combat's going to happen this round.
Yeah, so this is a cheap, just Maenad rush.
A bunch of... Oh no, just one guy summoning imps with some bodyguards and some Maenads in front. Isn't going to do shit.
No. But if there was no army there, it would have taken PD.
Okay, it was successful in gym baiting.
Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, 4 death gems to kill some Maenads. But did he get the mage? He got the mage too.
He got the mage. I mean, yeah, I guess the death gems are kind of... I mean, the high accomplishment of this army was gym baiting.
Yeah, so. But, yeah.
Oh, Bogus is inside.
Oh, Bogus. Has Bogus got any gear? No, good. No. He's also cursed, so his usefulness is kind of done.
Oh, Incinerate coming out just deletes him. Wow.
Well, that's one way to wipe out Bogus.
Yeah, wrecked. All right. So he's gotten that fort.
You know the history of Bogus, eh?
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, the other episode. Yeah, the D&D party. This is just rude. Attacking somebody with their own mage in the magic phase. It's just fucking rude, is what it is.
No, good grief.
He got hit and retreated. Yeah. Which he may have... No, I think this was magic phase. I don't know if he was...
Oh, look at that. He stole a Malik. Did you see that?
That's he got one of these too? Oh, man. He's gotten so lucky with stealing things. It's just... What an asshole.
Oh, that's heavily geared.
Yeah.
It's effective, but that's a lot of gear.
What an asshole. And Pangaea's got a better bless, I think, than End, right? This guy is going to have... He's going to be on the roids of the Pangaean bless.
Oh,
so he's larger... What is it?
Look at that.
Shock resistance, fire resistance, defense,
quad
surge. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, man. So, a dryad here. So he's patrolling out some dryads.
Oh, good. That he needed to do that.
Yeah.
He very much needed to do that. Now, has he formed any strong armies?
Well, let's see.
There's the Dark Vines. Can we see how that worked?
Here?
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what he does here with the Dark Vines. So he's got 4 of them.
So it looks like he's using them as basically bodyguards for these casters at the back.
But he Iron Warriors them.
Yeah.
Right? Did he hit them?
Yeah,
there
this
we
guy
go.
got
That
it.
one got it. But the others didn't.
And they got a... wait, they're enlarged. Okay.
Enlarged.
They didn't get a strength buff, though, aside from the enlarged bonus. This one got... Yeah, okay.
They're already 17 damage.
Oh, they got quickness on him, too, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's really got them buffed up. They're thick boys. How would you kill them easily? I'm not totally sure. Their MRs... I think these guys would still get targeted by Cell Slay if you have... Oh, but they're mindless. Ooh.
No, they're mindless.
Magic Being, so you could do them with Moonblades.
Or...
and they don't have slash resistance. I think Moonblades is the easiest way to cut them down.
There's that Astral spell that attacks Magic Beings.
Yeah. Opposition or whatever.
Yeah. That's a possibility.
That's a limited range. Yeah.
That's a lot of hit points.
Good.
There's the other one that steals Magic Beings.
Yeah, I think if this were to run into like an end army, though, I think it gets surrounded by end sacreds with buffs on them. They'll delete these in like 1 or 2 turns.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
The other one that would be really useful on those is Gift of the Hare or whatever makes them run fast.
Yeah,
because that's easy for Pan to throw.
Yeah.
Because speeding up their combat speed so they hit closer to when the Maenads hit would be very helpful. It's just a possibility.
Oh, man, but look at the southern front. So the Van Jarl coming in, killing this stuff. This is a scary army here.
So Pangaea has successfully put together... He's got thug rating from almost every nation in the game except, say, Pelagia.
Yeah.
He's got Almish thugs. He's got In thugs. He's got Van thugs. That's too funny.
There's an interesting thing that just happened, though, which is he's basically forked End's armies. He has set it up now where End gets to pick which fort they want to hold. Do they want to try to hold this one or do they want to try to hold this one? And I don't even honestly know if they can kill this. I think they probably can. It's going to be darkness. They're not going to be able to hit in the dark.
Yeah,
End can, how many mages? He's got a lot of mages. I think End can kill this army. So if End moves here and kills this army, great. But he's now given up this fort. I think.
Yeah. I don't know. He's also got to be mindful that he's got to do foul vapors protection.
Yeah. I think he probably has poison resistance and is blessed, though, at least.
It's like he raided with the Pan thug. Pangaea raided with the Pan thug.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Single Pan. So what did he do here? Oh, cheap.
Oh, Creeping Doom, it looks like.
That's easy. And he could stealth away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked.
That worked.
Dryad thug rather than a Dryad seducer.
Yeah, lifelong protection and swarm. Almost didn't work. That was very touch and go.
Yeah, that was touch and go.
But yeah, it was a fair amount of PD. It was 16 PD. So
that's the chill aura armor, isn't it?
No, it's just I think he probably stole this armor from somebody, but it's the cold protection armor.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, and it gives morale too. So
yeah, that works. Oh, and we've got a white mage
killing. That's a kind of weird job for a god.
That's the god of.
Yeah, he killed this Van Jarl. I guess we can watch that.
He caught that one.
These Great Lions are pretty good.
Ooh. Yeah, that worked well.
And with the imps. See, these guys have 2 attacks, so you get a lot of attacks a tile. And then if you ever pop Misform, which they didn't even need to, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Pan was trying to block a, bust up a blood hunting province.
Yeah.
These lions are not bad.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them. So,
what's the pass?
What's that?
On his god. Or just wondering, I'm trying to remember
everything. Everything.
Everything god? Yeah.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay,
yeah.
so it's a rainbow.
Yeah. So I think this is a problem for End. Which fort are they going to defend? And they're a little spread thin after this fight with Agartha, and then piddling away with Pan for a little bit as part of this Pan alliance they didn't really get much out of. And they took losses from. If they had instead made some deal, consolidated, they could probably have more troops from which, if Pan ended their nap with them now or whatever, they would be better able to defend. But
yeah. It's a tough situation for End.
Yeah. I think the play for End is you take these guys and you defend here, you get your god to a lab, and you plan on magic phasing your god inside to defend this. That is, I think, the plan that I would do.
And it's a bummer that he took so long to siege down that last independent fort from Agartha, because that's holding him up. It's not a big army he's got committed up there, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how this is going to go.
I don't know.
What else?
We now need to talk about the Xibalba and Ashdod conflict.
Yes, we do. All right, I'll leave this one to you.
Okay. Laid a trap with the geared Banelord and E2 Fluffer to move with the illusionist raid south of the Uruk fort Zib is sieging. He would have only seen the illusionist in magic phase, and the thug Fluffer would be obfuscated this turn. God, these guys and their big words. However, I'm not loving at all, I think is what he meant to say, the D-mages in every direction. A Banelord doesn't do well versus Dust to Dust. That's correct. We mentioned that before.
Yep.
Pulling him and Fluffer back into the army, moving west of Zib's cap. I'm mostly pulling back this turn to concentrate around his cap, handing off some frost rings to the Hashmel, coming back to provinces west of the cap, making a spectral mage to break into water and for more crosspass. Okay. Notice Zib is at blood 7, saw Leech go off when he took back 1 PD in the northeast. So maybe that's his play in this cap fight. So Leech, okay. I'm going to be spamming some Astral Hearts.
Heals?
Okay, to hopefully get my HP up a bit. No good options for this leper army at this point. His archers should actually be a hit point root liability with Aerofend up on my side. Yes, I think the advantage of archers is gone. I've reinforced the cap army with 30 Sayer. I keep catching him trying to push raiders behind me, hopefully using 3 such squads to deter his attempts. Moving that static patrol to south of his cap to ensure continued traceability of income and retreat pathing. The sneaky raiding screams confidence he's holding his cap. Or maybe it's just an all-in on WWs?
Wailing Winds, yeah.
Wailing Winds. Doing the work for him, and he wants to cut all retreats. Okay. In Diplo news, Van ended an AP with yes. Seems the Pan coalition is breaking up. Yes. My read is that Van was making marginal gains while Pel and grew. So Van is hoping to grow enough relative power to challenge later. For Pan, breaking up the coalition against him any way he can should be fine. Is in a sneaky good position with research points and an ability to do cheaply geared elemental royalty. Hearing he lost a few of those last turns versus Satis Pan. Van probably wants to snuff that out while Pan focuses on End. I do think that if Pan focuses End, he will be in a position for a throne win, so Van is taking a risk. For myself, I need to successfully finish this war versus Zib. Someone will undoubtedly vulture if I do. Pel will move into the lakes north of Zib per agreement. I've NAP'd with Pelagia. Don't say myself taking any of Jotunheim if I take Zib, at least not without attracting unwanted attention. Someday with more gold forts, maybe I fix this atrocious research issue. I'm at level 5 to 6 across the board, but I'm guessing the leaders have 3+ schools at 7 to 8. We know they do. If I do take most of Zib and manage to consolidate, I will have decent throne exposure. The clocks are ticking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty good summation. What does... Oh, nothing from Xibalba, but I'm curious, just since it's related, what's the Uruk message?
Oh, I would have skipped that. Don't mind me just checking the obituaries to see if I've died yet.
No, you haven't.
He's still alive.
And that has... And that has cost Xibalba significantly.
Yeah,
in that
it could have been the deciding factor in the war.
It could have been, but that army has sat there and failed to storm and failed to storm. I don't know how many times.
Oh, we have a battle on top of Zib's capital.
Ooh.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Did I miss it? Did he take this last turn and we not see it?
Is there only one battle?
Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna go back and.
Quickly look at the past turn. He wasn't there. No.
Because we looked at what the hell?
Sure, we looked at this.
54.
No, where is that? Oh,
no, we did miss it somehow.
We did get there. No, we watched this fight. I remember watching this fight. Yeah,
I don't really remember this, but
I remember this because I remember seeing the god there.
Wait, where's the god? This is just the Hashmal. No,
that's the Hashmal.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw that.
Okay.
But we missed the implications, which is that Xibalba has his capital under siege.
Okay.
Somehow we missed the implications. We didn't miss that fight. I think we just missed the implications.
All right.
And these are serious implications.
So let's take a look, because I know Ashdod's been getting plagued by assassins. There's still just a tremendous number of commanders here, so it doesn't look like... And he's got 7 scouts, so he's doing commander chaff.
Yes, he sure is. And those are tough scouts.
Yeah.
You know, those are tough enough to maybe win the odd assassination.
Attacking Pangaea?
What?
Huh.
What?
Pangaea actually needs this, because this is where the immortal dude is tied to. So I think he kind of has to take this back, but...
What the heck is Zib doing?
He's striking out in all directions. This is... Okay, that was Ashdod. Was this... That's Ashdod.
Yeah, taking back one of the Hashmal raids.
Okay. I guess he needs land, and Pangaea must be busy, right? But now that justifies Pangaea coming in and taking this weakly defended stuff over here. So
well, now we understand what Ashdod was saying about he might get vultured and that Pan might take some of that away from his possible gains.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Xibalba has a hope in hell now. I think it's fundamentally over.
Well, he's still got little raiding squads that aren't doing much, but they're getting some territory. I think he might actually be up in territory this turn.
Yeah, but those aren't going to save his capital.
Oh man, look, he's way up in territory. Yeah. Well, he's got to, have... Okay, the capital's broken, though, now. Ooh. And he's got the Seir present. He's got 30 Seir.
Oh.
If he gets these Seir buffed to hell and puts them in the gate and they're berserking, and he's got the elementals, I think he's got a pretty good chance of just taking it this turn.
He doesn't have mass flight, though, very likely, does he?
No, because he said he's only at 5 and 6.
But he could body ethereal a whole bunch of stuff and run right through the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, getting stuck in the gate, he might not win the storm. But if he can bypass the gate on the 2 flanks with body ethereal or even...
But, archers and skelly spam is like the worst to try to go siege or like storm a castle on.
Mm-hmm.
Without mass flight or anything. So it's not trivial.
How many illusionists does he have there? I thought I saw only one.
I actually don't know where he did this illusionist thing.
There's one.
There's one here. That was, I guess, covering the Banelord, but there's a whole army here, so I don't know. Was that? I guess that was the one he was talking about, but
I saw one illusionist on the capital, Xibalba's capital. Oh, okay, but tabs.
One illusionist on the capital. Yeah, there's 2 illusionists here, so yeah, they could do air elementals or something.
They could do gift of flight.
Yeah.
On a few of the big Anakites. Get
them
in the back line.
That's true. Getting a few guys in the back line actually can mess up a lot of the Horde of Skeletons scripting too. So
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And Xibalba's been using those broad spread out formations, which are really good when you're out in the open, but might not be so good if a couple of, because he could get 4 or 5 Anakites, maybe more, flying into the back lines on round 3.
Yeah.
If he set up well.
Yeah, that's possible. That's certainly possible.
Could we quickly view that just to see his battlefield setup?
Yeah.
I know that the fight is insignificant, but I'm just... Okay, so...
This is a serious army.
Yeah. Where's his illusionists? And how many? Oh, there's one. I can see the mirror image.
Yeah.
Oh, tons of gems. So do you think he's going to do storm?
I think this air elementals.
Could be. And that would do it.
Yeah. I mean, that'll kind of do the same thing. Yeah, God, I'm kind of hoping for... I mean, I think Xibalba is in a tough position. I'm kind of hoping for Ashdod that it works out. Because he needs... Like, if you look at what happened, right? He was in a 3v1 with killing Naba, which, shame on him for being in it. If you're in an over 2v1, shame on you. But for the first war, at least. And then... He came over here, messed with Jotunheim as part of another coalition, right? I hadn't actually thought about this. He's been like a coalition monkey against Jotunheim. Yeah. But then that didn't really go well because he got attacked by Xibalba. And maybe I feel less bad for him now because he's been a coalition monkey. So he went from this coalition to this coalition, but before he could finish this, Xibalba challenged him to an honorable 1v1. And... so far, he's done an excellent job repelling all the Xibalba stuff, but it's been a slow, grueling war.
It has. He's taken some hard losses. He got his god stuck.
Yeah.
Because if that god was still teleporting around where he needed it to be, things would be a little different.
Yeah.
And his god is currently dead, I believe.
Yeah.
And poor Mark to hell.
Yeah.
So more or less junk now.
Okay, so
all right.
Yeah, I think that's that. I think that might be it for the turn too, and we're at an hour, so we have to look at Pelagia and Jotunheim. Make sure we did we miss a Pelagia message? I don't think so.
No, and I don't think there's anything to say. He's just slowly cleaning up.
Yeah. Oh well, he took the cap, so there's something here. Jotunheim coming out with all they got. I think that's their god.
Whatever they got left.
Oh, okay. This actually is going to be kind of cool because he's getting all the buffs on his god. And his god is going to go berserk, and he's got a dusk dagger.
Okay. Is that god badly crippled? Didn't it have better pass?
It's crippled, actually, but that's okay.
That's not so bad. Okay.
And he's got some flyers to come in here and mess with this, so I don't know if he got the... Oh, my God.
Oh, mass flight.
Mass flight. And this is a size 4. Okay, he's not going to be able to trample...
Yeah, but that guy just took 30 damage.
Oh, yeah, he's in trouble. Let's see if I can go back to slow speed.
Yeah, no.
What's he taking so much damage from?
Gargoyles. No, the Wave Warriors.
You think?
Bronze Tridents. I think so. 0,
a
0,
Ducado
7.
hits Scrotty with a ranged attack Incinerate for 7 points of damage.
There was a 30-point hit the round before. Something or other. 41.
No, but that's him hitting.
I saw a 30-point little message.
You know what would be a great hotkey? Do you see it?
No.
Oh, a great hotkey would be if you could filter this for only things where you took damage, like the unit that you're looking at.
Oh, there's a 20.
Where?
Up just a little, I think. Up a little more. Didn't I see a 20 there? I don't know. Word of power.
Oh, wait, that's the whole combat. Gargoyle hit. Not for much. Not for much. Not for much.
Yeah, I thought I saw a big 30-point hit.
No, he's been hit. Oh, here's one.
There it is. Oh,
Incinerate.
the Duco with the Incinerate.
Dude,
20 points.
It's these Hail fucking Mary... Look, he's probably all the way back here. Who's the guy spamming?
No, I know.
Look at this.
I know this.
Look at this shit.
This crazy. Yeah, that crazy range. with the flame staff and his bless.
Yeah, because I was like, how is he taking damage from a big pile of garbage? And he's not. He's getting zapped by mages.
Oh, incinerate. Yeah, there it is. And another one. Okay, grief. Oh, wow. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough. 6 regen is way too little. So
for incinerates, yeah.
Over. Look at that.
It is close, though.
Yeah.
It was close. Like, if this guy had 100 HP and therefore more regen, he probably would have made it. Oh, well, but not to that. Look how they got him at the end.
Soul Slay.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What a stylish way to finish him off.
Yeah. I'm also thinking that Pelagia is probably preaching away all the Dominion.
Yeah, that's possible, too.
I mean, he could have bishop fish everywhere.
Yeah. Does he? I forget if he has sacred mages. Oh. These guys are holy too. These guys are not.
These guys are not.
These guys are not. These guys are not. So it's just these Hecatides or whatever.
Right.
All right. A for effort for Jotunheim for a valiant defense, but the Pelagian artillery is just too much.
4-1-0 for Jotun. Oh, he took a bit of a beating there. He lost.
There's a pretty significant amount of stuff in here, yeah. And the god at least gym baited.
That's true. Good point. There's a howl.
Oh, rigor mortis is up.
A rigor. Oh, that's probably what got the magi.
Foul vapors is up, which the god gym baited too. I don't know if I assume Pelagia has enough gems for both phases. Let's take a look. Yeah, these guys have Serpent's Blessing on them still.
Right. Okay. Quite a bit of banish, but banishing those big long dead is a slow process. Well, ooh, look at the size of those banishes.
The mages are all going to be asleep now too. Oh no, they're still casting stuff.
Some of them.
Do they both have relief up? Okay, Gaija cast relief. Yeah, they both have relief up.
Okay.
These wave warriors are just pushing their way through. They are good units when you get buffs on them.
They are a good unit. Yeah. Well, the tridents hit really hard.
Yeah.
And they've got pretty good attack skill, I believe.
Yeah. And these mages are not passing out. And they don't have any kind of other auxiliary regen. I mean, reinvigoration, I don't think. It's just relief.
Well, I've found that, like, if you want to make a rigor play and you're not all undead, relief is enough to keep you afloat.
Yeah. There's a lot of casting
They're still going to
happening.
fatigue out, but you don't usually have them die so badly.
Yeah.
But I saw briefly in the battle report numbers that he did lose quite a few magi. So pretty hefty losses for Pelagia, but on the other hand, that is the last effort for
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. 5 magi, a thug, a scout. Minimal amount.
I mean, Pelagia had to get out their wallet and pay, but they were getting bargain bin prices. Like, just when you look at the past couple combats with Pelagia and Jotunheim, they were getting excellent trades, even though Jotunheim was doing a lot of really good stuff. So,
exactly. Cool.
Well, I think, guys, that is it for Jotunheim. So,
it is.
Everybody clap. You know, they're at one time they were position 1. They then got coalitioned. And they gave us a lot of really good battles. So
pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting game. I know I've been getting a lot of cross chat over on my YouTube from people dropping by after watching this. So
yeah.
So there's a lot of interest. A lot of interest. People are really enjoying this series.
Yeah. And if we look at it, of the people involved in the 3-way Triangle of Death, they are now the second to fall. After Vanarus was the first, Jotunheim's the second, and it looks like Satis is not going to be far behind them. So the Triangle of Death is truly it's like the Bermuda Triangle. It really is the ruin of nations.
Everything around that stupid throne, people have fought back and forth over that one throne.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time.
Bye, everybody.